as we try and make sense of all this. I want to bring in now NBC News correspondent Tom Winter. Tom, we know this is a fluid situation. What can you tell us at this hour?
The individual is still at large, Alex, but every indication we have at this point is that authorities do know that individual's name. We are aware of that individual's name, and once we feel like we have a little bit more confirmation, we will bring that to you right away. The individual perhaps is known for mental illness issues, particularly mental illness issues in the recent past. This individual is still wanted. They are not in police custody as I speak here, or at least within the last 5 minutes or so. The numbers, as you've reported, 22 dead, 50 to 60 injured at multiple scenes, including a bowling alley in Lewiston, Maine. Right now, they're on the lookout for a particular vehicle, which may or may not have been found. We're still trying to get some clarity on that, and I'm going to withhold some details. So you're looking at the vehicle right there has been put on Facebook by the local police department, the agency that is initially investigating this, along with the Maine State Police. That white car right there, that's what they've been looking for. And so we're withholding a couple of details as well, so as not to tip this individual off if they're listening. And in this day and age, with how much our programming is streamed and available in so many different places, we want to be careful of that. So that's what we know so far. We're trying to dig into more information about this individual's past and history, including any prior contacts with law enforcement that may be wholly unrelated to this or any sort of threat. I think the important thing to keep in mind, and something that I think has been on the top of minds not just of law enforcement reporters like myself, but of everybody in this country, as to whether or not anybody could have been doing this as an act of terrorism. And I know it is certainly terrifying what occurred in Maine tonight, but we have to keep in mind that terrorism, as it's defined in law enforcement, is somebody who is acting out, committing a specific act of violence to further a cause. There's no indication that that is the motive here, at least at this stage of the investigation. So in plain English, what do I mean by that? Effectively here, we are not getting any sort of sense that this individual has been motivated by any sort of hate or specific ideology to any sort of specific group of people. But I do caution, and we've seen this happen in numerous other investigations in the past, that it is early. Obviously, law enforcement has not made contact with this individual. Do they have any sort of writings on their person? Will he tell police anything when he's hopefully taken into custody? That remains to be seen as well. So it's early in the investigation. Still trying to gather more information. The numbers are obviously significant, and this individual that you're looking at on screen is the individual believed to have obviously done this. He's holding that assault-style rifle, and there will be questions asked whether or not he has anything in his criminal history which would have prohibited him from legally holding or buying and purchasing this particular weapon. So a lot of questions that need to be answered. The most important for law enforcement at this stage, we're told, is obviously finding this individual. But I think this individual's most recent mental health situation, if you will be closely looked at here, and where the investigation goes from that standpoint remains to be seen. But that's what we know so far. More details as we get them, as we get things confirmed, and as we believe we're in a spot to obviously not hinder any ongoing manhunt for this person.
Tom, I'm going to ask you just one more question or two more questions. I'm not sure that you will have the answers.